Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Gyro here. Thank you very much for joining me today. I am finally able to demonstrate to you my 4 chest run on casually geared Demon Hunter, Havoc Demon Hunter. 446 is the item level, rank 9 is my cloak. Mother's Archives talents are open up to the experimental destabilization talent, but I'm only just barely tipping my toes into it. So let's see how well do I go. It is a fairly long video, so it's going to be pushing 17 minutes, and hopefully you will enjoy the kind of little guide, little narrative. I wanted to say garrative for some reason. Alright, so make yourselves comfortable, hold on to your butts, and let's get started on this kind of video. Specifically the things to look out for, and specifically the things I'd like to point out early on. We are obviously doing horrific Orgrimmar. As I said in the past, and I'm demonstrating right now all the different areas of the map, well, you can take a look at them yourself, but I'm sort of making an effort to highlight what kind of maladies and issues are you going to be experiencing when you go into different areas. And we will talk about that as I go into those areas, as it's a kind of talk as you go type of guide, which is what I do on this channel. If this is your cup of tea and my voice doesn't annoy you, my accent doesn't annoy you, please consider subscribing, as many people did over the past months and really supported the growth of this channel. I am truly appreciative to those people. Thank you very much, guys. This is what motivates me. So as I started saying, we are in Orgrimmar. Orgrimmar is considered to be, and I still believe so, considered to be easier than Stormwind. I believe that horrific visions of Orgrimmar are easier to do solo. Please make no mistake that I'm not making any claims or not trying to make broad suggestions that this is how things are for group clears. I do not know about group clears. I haven't done one single one because I push content solo. That's what this channel is about. I'm a casual player. You can call me fairly reclusive. I love talking to people online, but at the same time in the game, I try to do things my own way. I don't want to upset you, and you don't want to upset me. So this is why I play the way I play and make no apologies for it. So having said that, Orgrimmar is easier than Stormwind, I believe, but in this, so this was my first. I already have done, by the way, a few attempts at 4 chests, and I do it pretty solidly there. Spoiler alert, behind the scenes. This was my first attempt, and I can honestly tell you guys, I don't know if it will come through with the video that you're watching, if you will actually be able to sense it, yeah? But I can honestly tell you that once you start pushing within the casual ilevel range, of course, as always, yeah, I should probably stop saying this, but some people are new to the channel, they don't understand why am I making such a deal out of all of this. When you start pushing 4 chests, it does get hectic. You start feeling pressure, even though towards the end of this video you will see that I kind of still had leeway. I still had an orb left, for example, when I bailed. And you might say to yourself, oh mate, why didn't you keep going? Well, I didn't keep going because I'm learning the content and I'm trying to make the progression as organic and as natural for myself as a person who does not do external research. For me, fun of this is self-discovery. That's what I encourage you guys, casuals, to do. We burn out on the content that Blizzard gives us. We don't have enough content to preoccupy us. And I'm happy to hear alternative thoughts on this or have a discussion about this in the comments down below. Please tell me what you feel, how you feel about this as a casual player who doesn't raid normal, who is not a part of the active guild, who doesn't find themselves endlessly running mythics and loving it, things like that. So yeah, regardless, I don't judge, this is just me, I'm just saying to you. So in this particular case, I can tell you that when you're casually geared, I am now finally pushing like 446, starting to run Heroic Darkshaw. If you haven't seen my little video about Heroic Darkshaw overview rather than maybe a detailed guide, please watch that. That's not bad. Well, I made it. It's not my proudest moment, but it's a pretty informative video if you have never done this type of content. So yeah, within my eye level range, again, I said in the video about Dakshaw, I said that kind of from watching like 1 or 2 videos of the other people who are pushing content solo and they do full clears, excuse me, it appears to be that in order to reasonably comfortably do a full clear, you need to dish out about 60k DPS on demand, like without too much effort and single target DPS. I'm not talking multiple target DPS, because I've breached that level many times when it's large groups, of course. I am only maybe hovering somewhere around 40k. I am hovering somewhere around 40k, and by the end of this week, when I'm going to be attempting, after upgrading my cloak perhaps by 1 level, maybe reaching at the very least rank 10, with 50% corruption resistance that it gives you at rank 10, I will be trying a full clear. I will be risking once again my Vessels of Horrific Visions, but I honestly do not expect to suddenly be able to dish out sustainably like 10k more than I'm doing now. Which is why I'm not gonna say I'm shaking in my boots, this is part of the fun, but I am thinking, oh, well, as I'm narrating this 4 chest run, and after I've done this, and after I've experienced how intense it actually gets, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I don't know if I'm gonna make it, and that is kind of the sentiment that I'm trying to make here. Regardless, so as you can see, I've been doing all right. I haven't been particularly paying attention to what's going on the screen in terms of, I feel like I've shown you this bit on my 3 chest runs many times. If you haven't watched them with a lot more pointy narrative that is talking about the experience doing that, you're welcome to watch the other videos. Here, there was simply not all that much to point out. The biggest trouble remains not the final boss of the area I just cleared, the Valley of Spirits. The biggest trouble remains the guy at the entrance, to me. The big faceless guy at the entrance, straight after the Khan. The boss there, okay, he tries to silence you. He has this ability of throwing that orb and silencing you, which is particularly annoying for because it's a silence, right? And we're used to that silence is stopping, let's say, your spells, right? But should it be stopping a slash that a demon hunter does with a melee weapon? In my opinion, it should not. In my opinion, Blade Dance, Chaos Strike, Demon's Bite should not be treated as spells. They should not be silenced, but they are. Okay? That is something for you to be aware of. So naturally, without needing to say it, hopefully, as soon as you get silenced and you see that orb that he spawns that unsilences you, yeah, you need to make it your priority to jump to that orb and, you know, continue DPSing him. Now, so as you already know, I'm sure you already know that, the final boss of the instance Thrall, Corrupted Thrall, he is gaining abilities of those mini bosses as you clear these extra areas. That is what makes it a little more intense than you think towards the end. So for example, when I was doing 3 chest runs at my casual item level, yeah, I never really on this my main, yeah, Demon Hunter, I never really felt like my health is in danger. I felt like my sanity is in danger because I try to stretch it as far as I can, you know, for my sanity without using an orb. Especially now that I have the elite extermination talent from Mother's Archives, the one that gives me back 200 sanity when I kill one of those elite mini bosses. So I know I can stretch, and I do stretch as far as possible, and that is the only way I think for us as casual solo grinders, solo pushers, to eventually do a full clear. Because if you don't stretch, if you start, you know, spawning an orb when your sanity hasn't been fully utilized, fully depleted, if you start cheating yourself and undercutting yourself, your budget of sanity, well, you are not then pushing very hard, are you? And this is, hopefully brings me back to the kind of thing that I said earlier. So this is what kind of made me, this is what creates that situation where I have one orb remaining, yet you don't see me go into the final area for the 5th chest. It is because I am fully realizing that I'm gaining my mementos and I'm unlocking more talents in the Mother's Archives, preparing for that full clear push. But I don't want to lose the run. I don't want to waste all these gains. I want to feel that I'm doing it reasonably comfortably. Yeah, probably I don't need to specify this because that's kind of fairly obvious. But you know, it probably, I feel like it had to be said. I feel like this question might be on your mind, like, mate, you still have half of sanity left and one orb. Why didn't you go into the other area? Well, because that risks the loss, and at this level, it's fairly expensive. Yes, I said it earlier that as long as you learn something, it's not a waste. But in this case, I want to make this week count. I want to do a full clear by the end of this week. Am I committing to do that with my item level? Realistically, no, but I'm gonna freaking try. Alright, new area. Finally, we're going into the area that at least I haven't shown you ever. This is where we need to fight Rexxar and kill him. Misha, his bear, corrupted bear, greets us straight away. Absolutely nothing to write home about. The biggest issue is disorientation, this disorientation effect that you get from the shadows of yourself. Shadows of yourself are spawning at any point within this area, not just during combat, surrounding you. Now, this is the first run, as I said to you, and I made repeatedly the same mistake as a demon hunter who is fairly dashy. I dash, dash, dash everywhere, yeah? That's how we play. In this case, I can encourage you, my friends, to slow down. Slow down on the dashing. Stop moving. Stop doing what I'm doing right now. Stop going back and forth. When you engage with the group, stop. Stand. See? Don't move. Well, I mean, here I couldn't know because I was just walking and they just spawned around me. That's fine. But in the fights, you will see, I get stunned quite a lot, and this run, even though it's successful, it could have been more efficient, and that's part of the solo push and part of something that I'm trying to guide you on, as well as sharing my experience. Within these areas, the key to this is that when you engaged the enemy, limit your movements and find that exit that right now I found. Did you see it? So they are circling me, those shadows, but they give you an exit. They give you an exit, and if you're smart, and my subsequent runs, well, not this one, but my subsequent runs, I think I got stunned like once. So you can get much better, and you save therefore a lot of seconds there, combined seconds that save you a lot of sanity, yeah? And make it all more efficient. All these runs are about efficiency. Yeah, look, Captain Obvious on deck. Apologies. Another fairly obvious thing, but I think I've never particularly pointed it out to you, but let me do that now, better late than never, is the fact that I recommend spawning orbs, sanity orbs when you have to, as close as possible to your next pool, so that you can start the pool before your sanity orb has been depleted and sanity has been replenished. In other words, you see me probably do it all the time now, but I'm just now explicitly pointing it out to you. Before pooling, time to replenish your sanity. Be as close as possible not to pool them, of course. Yeah, and be careful not to cross these black, completely black smoky screens, because that's where sanity starts depleting very, very fast and you die. But if you spawn if you summon the orb, spawn the orb, and you pull the next group right into the orb, you will be able to do a lot of damage kind of for free. Your sanity is still replenishing, right? So it's not going away. Now, Rexxar. Rexxar I found not very hard. Personally, not very hard. Even not as hard as other bosses. He has pets and he has these traps. As I did not check exactly what happens when you go into a trap, but I can imagine it would probably stun me or whatever. See how I'm static here? I'm not moving. That's why I'm not stunned. Just let them disappear or move out. Do not worry about Rexxar's pets. Do not worry about Rexxar's pets at all. Just focus on killing him. And that's it. That's about it. His pets, I think his pets attempt to stun you. I think that's the biggest thing they do. I don't think they contribute much DPS to Rexxar. At the very least, I didn't feel so. I didn't feel like that was my biggest issue with them. And, well, now we are getting to the closer to the end of this little guide. And the final thing to point out is what I already said to you. Thrall is going to get pets. Thrall now will get, in addition to everything else, all the other abilities that you're already used to seeing from my 3 chest runs, he is now getting a 4th ability, which are the pets of Rexxar. I'm now picking up the final kind of, I left them for time efficiency, I left the chests, and now I know I have time. I know I'm not risking it, as I said to you. I know I want my rewards, I want to make it nice and steady. So I feel like I'm doing okay, I feel like I need to do better. I think I need to do better. Do I think that this was enough for me to now theoretically do the 5th chest? No, no chance. No chance. But I think I can do better with being a bit more efficient, a bit more proficient with this path that I'm constantly running. Yeah, and hopefully the cloak at next level will offer me a tiny bit more protection from, yeah, and kind of in an additive way. That extra 5% or whatever it's going to give me is hopefully going to make a difference. Now, if you haven't subscribed already, but you somehow enjoyed this narrative and learned something new, maybe if you're a solo demon hunter who looks for a little bit of fun to behead, and if you're also interested in other classes, demon hunter will always remain close to my heart and I will always treat him as my main. But as you saw from other videos, I am leveling up the other classes that I like. The Death Knight, the Druid, they are all on their way, guys, and their journey is going to be fully reflected in this channel. I welcome suggestions and requests for content as well. I will be talking to you about LFR. I know there is interest in reviewing LFR. I never knew and never thought that it's kind of, well, deserves a review because of how face rolly this content is and how, you know, so I'm not trying to treat it too seriously, but perhaps it would be interesting for you. So that content is also coming your way shortly. So if you haven't subscribed already, please do. That would certainly be very much appreciated. Let's take a look at the rewards. And once we see all the rewards, essences I'm gonna get, and 4 chests, then we're going to say bye-bye, and I'm going to talk to you within the next couple of days, as always. So thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you next time.